The financial crisis of late 2008 and 2009 has put even more pressure on managers to face up to tough decisions and make them. As demand for products and services dropped on a global scale, those companies with courageous leadership who kept their organizations lean, agile, and innovative survived a whole lot better than those plagued by slow-moving bureaucratic organizations. Courageous management has real impact. Gutsy leaders are constantly making sure that their organization has a simple, understandable, clear game plan for the future. In addition, headcount is kept as low as possible, and processes are constantly simplified and standardized in order to minimize distractions. Just as important, strong, courageous leaders create a culture that is curious, even paranoid about the future, to keep people always looking for new ways to help the company grow and improve. They make sure that decision-making is crisp and accountability is clear. They constantly look for important new trends in consumer behavior and technology that they can use to their advantage. Once important change is planned, they reconfigure the organization to implement that change quickly and effectively. Not only does this kind of results-oriented leadership keep the business fresh and alive, but when you face a crisis like the one the world saw in 2008 and 2009, the organization is far more agile and prepared to make the changes needed, not only to survive, but to win. Tragically, during the financial crisis, we saw numerous companies in a variety of industries that struggled mightily while their competitors took bold, swift action to cope. For example, in the automobile business, Ford distinguished itself during this very tough period, as did Wells Fargo and J.P. Morgan Chase in the financial services sector. These three companies spotted the risks early and took very decisive actions. Those that suffered most just weren't used to constantly seeking out new plans to increase their effectiveness in changing environments. They typically left personnel in their current jobs way too long, which caused them to become stale and protective of current practices. They allowed excess headcount to exist. This consistently leads to organizational complexity, fragmented processes, and bloated costs. Management that doesn't confront problems and make the necessary tough decisions to change typically ends up with a culture focused on pride in the past and the protection of old procedures. More often than not, this leads to consensus decision-making, in which no one thoroughly investigates an issue because he or she is not personally accountable for the results of the decision. Organizations with this kind of management usually get run over by new trends and new technology. They become insular and compartmentalized and incapable of initiating the kind of change required to meet major challenges such as the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009. The core issue we tackle in this book is the importance of hard-charging, gutsy leadership. It's tough to stay lean and agile as an organization. It's tough to constantly innovate and execute new, bright ideas that will increase the satisfaction and loyalty of your customers. But it can be done, and you can do it. This book will show you how.